Hey guys, welcome back to Fix It Friday, the weekly YouTube series where we talk about video game console repairs, mods, and restorations. So this week I've got something a little bit different from what I've done in the past. As you might imagine, doing the kind of stuff that I do, I end up picking up a whole bunch of things that end up being spare parts. And so I've got one here. This is a Game Boy that's a perfectly good motherboard, but the screen was obliterated. And then here's one where I have like I think a working Game Boy Pocket, but just the front end, like the back shell, I think was obliterated as well. So this is not usable. Both of these are not usable. And so, what's really nice is that nowadays you can take consoles like this and instead of throwing them out, you can give them new life with a combination of modern screens and third-party shells. And so recently, I was contacted by this company, eXtremeRate, and they asked me if I would be interested in reviewing some of their third-party shells, and I said, sure, why not? Because, this is something that's popular. A lot of people want to try different shells to replace the existing ones on their Game Boys if they're either very ugly or they just want something new and different. And so, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give these a shot. Just so it's clear, these are my opinions only. They're not going to be influenced by anything or anyone. So yeah, what I'm going to do today is go through these two consoles and install them into these cases and add in the new screens, the IPS screens, and we'll see how the whole process goes and how things look in the end. All right, cool. Let's get to it. All right, so I'm going to start with the Game Boy Pocket because it's pretty easy, and also because I can kind of show you how things look with both the stock screen and with the IPS screen that I'm about to install. So yeah, the first thing I want to tell you is the impression I have of this shell. I mean, it's got a very nice finish to it. I really like the color, the fact that it kind of changes color depending on the angle that you shine it. It's a chameleon purple is I think the name of this color, and so it alternates between being like a blue and a purple. It's really nice. And I can also tell you that it feels really good too. So like the feeling of this is really comfortable and smooth. It's not the same as like a stock shell. It's kind of like a soft kind of feel, soft touch kind of thing. But it seems really good in terms of the durability of it as well. It's like there's some kind of a paint and maybe some kind of a finish to prevent scratches and such. So yeah, this is clearly the original color of the plastic, this white here. But yeah, all of that is going to end up getting concealed once we install everything. So it's a really nice kit because you don't have to think about buying anything. It comes with everything that it needs. So it's got buttons, it's got the button membranes, and it has screws and then a battery terminal, which in my case I'm going to need because I don't have another half of the shell. So yeah, for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by installing the original system into here, and we'll see how it looks like that. And then after that, we'll transition to the IPS screen. Alright, so hopefully that illustrated that installing the Game Boy Pocket board and screen back into this new case is pretty straightforward. I ended up using all the tools that they provided. I also ended up using the screws that they provided as well, and that seemed to work just fine. The only thing I'd have to say that I feel isn't as nice are the buttons. I'm not as big of a fan of these buttons. They just don't feel the same as the originals, but they do seem to work, and the button membranes feel fine. So it's not about the springiness; it's just about the actual feel of the the buttons themselves. So what I might do now is replace the original buttons onto here, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to install the IPS screen onto here. And yeah, after that we'll put it all together and we'll see how everything performs. Alright, so we're back, and I've gone ahead and completed the assembly with the case. It was a very smooth process. I found that I could use either the supplied screws or the original screws from that Game Boy Pocket, and everything was fine as far as getting it all assembled. So yeah, installing an IPS screen on this case is virtually the same as it is on a stock case. There's really no difference I can think of. The plastic kind of breaks off maybe a little bit easier, but not by much. But yeah, you can see that the results are just awesome. You know, so as you probably noticed, I didn't give a very clear, detailed guide on the installation, but that's because I've already done a video of installing an IPS screen on a Pocket. And so I would recommend that if that's what you're doing, you should go ahead and check out my original video on a Pocket installation, and you can get a good feel for, for what I did. But yeah, this looks absolutely outstanding. The case feels great. And the only thing that I did was I kept the original plastic buttons here. So these pieces are all from the original Pocket. I left the power switch because I found that actually the stock power switch didn't quite fit, so I used the supplied power switch. So this like hybrid of the two honestly feels the best to me because the buttons feel right. They're fast and springy and responsive with the new silicon membranes, and yeah, the case just looks so nice. I really love it. So yeah, that's the Game Boy Pocket. So now that we're all done with this, let's go ahead and move on to that original Game Boy, and let's install an IPS screen in that shell, and we'll take a look and see how that goes. Okay, so next up is going to be the original Game Boy in the wood grain shell. So I've got all the parts laid out here. I foresee this process being very similar because, just like the other shell, this case feels really good. All of the standoffs look like they're correct, and so I think installation is going to be basically the same. This time I think I am going to go into a little bit more detail because I have done an IPS screen installation on YouTube before, but it was a different type. What I have today is the Funnyplaying IPS screen, which is a little bit different. It has some really nice features, including this retro pixel look where it basically replicates the scan lines of the original screen. So yeah, so I'm going to put a little bit more time in showing you exactly how to do this install, but thankfully it's very simple, and yeah, so let's get right to that. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and install the actual Game Boy motherboard here, and I'm going to use the original parts when I can, but this is easy, just slots right in and fits perfectly. So then all you got to do is just screw it into place. Alright, so that's all set. Next thing we got to do is just flip it over, and now we have to add battery terminals, and in this case I'm going to use the original ones because they're nice and clean, and also because these don't really, I think, have a good locking mechanism for staying in here, so I think these will continue to move and slip out. These are the ones supplied with the kit, so yeah, that's kind of unfortunate, but again, I don't particularly care because I do have battery terminals and they come with the original Game Boy and they're fine. And basically, the only thing you have to make sure of is that these little metal tabs here in the center get like pushed out, and as long as you do that, then they just kind of snap in. You heard that like lock, so they lock into place. You can see here this one's like that too, and then you just, there we go, snap them in. That's it. So this whole half of the case is ready to go. Alright, so now here's the front half, and we do have to make some modifications here, but they are pretty minimal, almost nothing. So you've got to just clip off these two posts right here, like so. That's the same as you would do with a regular Game Boy case as well, and it's not like a mod that would interfere with using an original screen either, because they both slot in here, and yeah, you're missing those 2 points, but it's still going to be solidly attached. So okay, that's out of the way. The other thing you need to do if you're doing this mod is you'll see that if you take this is the screen protector that comes with the IPS kit. You can kind of see in the corners here on the sides that the plastic kind of sticks out. This Funnyplaying screen is ever so slightly larger than an original Game Boy screen. And so as a result, you can kind of see the plastic here on the edge, and personally I don't like that. That's just kind of an aesthetic preference here on my part. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of just shave the outer edges here. I have a craft knife, and you don't have to be perfect here or precise. You just need to like shave off a little bit of the material. And this is just so it doesn't show up, just so you don't see it. It doesn't have to be perfect or perfectly straight or anything like that. The goal here is that if you put the cover on and you see nothing, then you've done your job. All right, so that's probably enough. Hopefully that showed up on camera. But let's take a look now and see how it looks. Okay, yeah, so I see I still have to do a little bit of adjusting on this side, maybe shave off a little bit more material here. But on the other sides, I don't see the plastic at all. And so that's kind of really what I wanted. I didn't want to see any of that. I just want to focus on the screen and not get distracted by seeing any of this stuff here. I would do this also with an original Game Boy shell, so this isn't actually anything different than what I would do with a normal Game Boy shell with this particular kit. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and finish that up really quick. Okay, so we've got this bezel installed, so now we're going to go ahead and get started with the screen. And I'll show you guys how to do that. First thing we got to do is we got to take the screen and we got to attach it to the controller. So you can see there's like a little socket right here in the lower section of the controller, and you just have to kind of line everything up and then push, and it should lock into place. It's a little fiddly. You gotta kind of work at it. There we go. Nope. Takes a little work. Okay. There we go. So that's attached. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the 3D printed mounting bracket, which came with the kit. This came with the Console 5 kit that for the IPS screen, and just line this up. You see it just fits snugly in place. And now from here we're going to take the protective covering off the screen, just like that, and just lock this in. You want to be careful here because these screens are fragile. You don't want to bend it too much because you can break the screen. There we go. But now it's all in place. That's good. And what I did was I took a little bit of that double-sided tape that was used for the bezel, and I just kind of cut a little piece off to stick to the back of the circuit board here. And if you just peel this other side off, now I've got my double-sided tape. We're just going to line this up, and that's it. We're good to go. And that's all set too. So now let's go ahead and just finish installing buttons and get things ready to go. I forgot that there is some soldering required for this guide. So the only thing you've got to solder is a speaker to the new board. This is one I had in my spare parts bin. You can buy a completely new speaker. You can take the original one off your Game Boy. It's kind of up to you, But that's really it. You just gotta solder those 2 points, and now we can continue with the assembly. Alright, so everything is fully assembled, and this is the final result. I mean, I really, really like this. I just love the aesthetic of the wood grain, and it feels great. Just like with the other shell, I liked the combination of taking the original buttons, like the plastic parts, but then using everything else from the kit. And this feels and looks like outstanding. So with the Funnyplaying screen, let me just show you what you can do. With the contrast wheel, you can actually toggle between color palettes just by pushing it inward and then cycling up and down. So you can adjust brightness, but you can also adjust colors. And then if you hold it down for an extended period of time, you can also get that retro pixel look. So I'm going to just bring it a little closer to the screen so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It looks good. It does have a similar kind of feel to it that the original screen used to. So yeah, when you see it like this, it's pretty clear. So I think the combination of having the Funnyplaying screen with this particular case is just actually like perfect. It looks and feels great, and everything works out really nicely. So yeah, I definitely recommend these shells. They would make for a nice little, beginner project. And if you've got a beat up or wrecked Game Boy Color, Game Boy Pocket or original Game Boy, then you can really make it look a lot nicer with this kit. All right, so if you guys like this content, then it would be great if you could subscribe to the channel or give me a thumbs up for this particular video. I have videos like this out every Friday, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about all this. And yeah, thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.